Evening, everybody. Welcome to the Block 9 podcast. And yeah, tonight, I always like to try and do a bit of a funny intro. And I thought, yeah, I'll leave it off tonight. I think after yesterday's performance and obviously Tuesdays, everybody's feeling a little bit, let's just say, deflated. Numb is probably another good word. After the appointment of Miron Muslic, we had the brilliant speech that went viral to the team, and it was brilliant. And I think that lifted everybody, and we turned up to Home Park on Tuesday against Oxford and sort of started well, but then didn't really muster. Got a goal against, which shocked and really sort of hit us on the back foot, and we managed to get that equaliser late. Care of Rami Al Haj, but a point is a point, and then we turn up to QPR on Saturday. I think all of us expecting a bit more. Muslic didn't have any time with the players other than a bit of a warm down session. So yeah, poor Andy. It was a tough one, isn't it? And there's been a lot of all sorts of views and opinions across the social media, and I think we'll discuss a few of those. But that was a tough one yesterday, wasn't it?
It was very tough to watch, yeah. We just couldn't break them down. I think QPR were really well set up. We just couldn't get that final ball to the final thirds like we did against Oxford. We put the ball across the box for Oxford, didn't we? We got some crosses in there, and this is where Al Hajj's goal came from. But we didn't do that yesterday. It was disappointing because, we're trying to be a bit too direct, I think, instead of playing through the channels and stuff.
Yeah, it's Carl. It's look, we will try and bring the level up a bit, and thank you everybody for coming in. But Carl, it just was so tough, wasn't it? That match.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting a slight improvement from the Oxford game, but we didn't see any improvement at all. I didn't know what the game plan was. Obviously, we're forced into the change with Grimshaw because Hazard's still out. He seemed to mix it up by going long and playing out from the back, which was interesting. I thought he was going to go longer a lot more. But I suppose when we haven't got a target man up there, all the players that Muslic needs to put in his plans and use the system he wants, it's very difficult. The midfield looked generally tired. I think Randall's had a lot of games, as long with same with JB. He wasn't on form again. He was pretty poor, hence why he got hooked off at half time. I think Houghton did a lot better when he came on second half. But it was another strange game. But I think a few more training sessions. We need those extra players in. He needs his staff in, and then hopefully we'll see some kind of improvement next week.
Yeah, Marcus, it's sort of. I try to feel positive going into it, but a bit like the Oxford game, I did feel sort of edgy myself. I went for a 2-0 victory. Always like to. I never sort of bet against us, but I think. Could you argue that's probably one of the worst home park performances we've seen in quite a while?
Well, before the game, he said the whole week he said he wasn't going to change it that much, but he tried to change it completely. Going long to Hardy's is a total waste of time. I mean, he's not going to be. They say he plays direct, but that to me was more like long ball, and they ain't got the players for that. You got a quick passing game, but the players didn't look like they had a clue.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they had to do that with a back four because we don't look good in the back four. Mumba can't defend, save his life. He's more of a winger than a defender. So we definitely need new faces in the building.
Yeah, it's like Callum has said, they're shocking yesterday. Relegation is looking more and more likely every day. I have to say it did, even knock me, and I'm probably one of the most positive people I know and have been on all of this. But evening to Steve, Callum, and Pilgrim Petey. So it's who's joined us. Get your comments and views in the chat, folks. Put it in the comments on whatever platform you're using, and we'll see them appear. It's Harvey. I put on this slide here. No passion, no application, no fight, no clue. Obviously, yes, that spells out PAFC. And there's been a lot on this, and we've seen some sort of, one of the pods that I listen to, Marcus does as well, Pilgrim's pod, Tom on there, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but yeah, was sort of questioning, sort of Muslic, was he trying too much, a bit like you, Marcus said, and I think there's a nervous situation around this when there's a lot of negativity that at the end of the day, everything should be questioned. And I think, it's difficult. Emotions are running high. And, for someone that travels, to every away game so far this season, how did you find that yesterday for yourself?
Yeah, I thought it was very disappointing. I also thought Oxford, it was very flat. Although we did get a point, in my head personally, I think we definitely needed 3 against Oxford, a team that was down there with us. And QPR, you look back on how they was last season. This time they was down with us, and this year they're just pulling clear. They're hitting that mid-table mark, and you can sort of see the difference now between the championship quality that these other teams have got that didn't have it last season. They've had that time to regroup, and with us, Argyle, unfortunately, it's very frustrating. I think it's very flat. I think the players know, they know what's coming if nothing gets changed, which is again disappointing. And I think I'd like to highlight Ballymumba's performance yesterday with the talks of Leeds and all of that. Pavlova with the transfer sagas and stuff. It's had an effect on him and ultimately cost us yesterday.
Yeah, it's look, it's tough. You don't want to sort of call people out, whether it's a player, whether it's a manager. Is it too early to question Muslic? Yeah, of course it is, because of all the circumstances. We'll come into a bit more on that. I think the point though, is right. The no passion side. After the sort of speech that he had, and I think where is it in here where Pilgrim Petey said, Muslic speech lifted everybody apart from the players. And it did feel like that. Morgan's obviously linked heavily to Burnley. And as you said, equally about Mumba with Leeds. And, and Barley Mumba has been a brilliant player for us. We said, when we did a little first half of the season review, he was most of our, sort of opinions, the star player, most improved player. But he does have that situation in him, sadly, where he can just make one just rash decision in a game, and it can cost us a goal. And we have got the highlights. I'll bring that up. We'll see that, which led to, sadly, to the goal. But it just started off really sort of, I think, well, actually, the crowd were okay to start with, because I think trying to get behind everybody and lift. But as it started to go on and play, we looked disjointed, hence the no application, sort of no clue, really. What were we trying to play? We were playing it out the back. It kept going square along the back four constantly, because we weren't creating, and I'm not a tactical expert, but we weren't creating the ability to get it forward. And when it did go over to Hardy's hardly ever wins headers, and I think that's the problem. I mean, poor Andy, it's I'll just go to the next slide just to get off that negative one now. But this is clearly probably his first team. I think you'd say Tuesday would have had Nance and Edwards sort of involvement, in fairness, because of the time that he joined. But how did you take the lineup, Andy?
I liked this initial start. I thought if we were going to play the channels, that Hardy was the right man, and if we were going to get crosses into the box for him, we saw from Pukash, that was going to be okay for us. But they never came. They weren't reaching the target. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a sort of game physically for Hardy to play in, because he's better with the ball at his feet sometimes. It's like you say, you cannot head the ball. We need a big, lumpy defender up front who can hit the ball. And I would rather
lumpy defender.
Sorry, I took a forward. Sorry, yeah, thanks, Carl.
Well,
it's a long day.
I'm trying to read comments.
But we need someone like in the ilk of like Ruben Reid, who put himself about at me, and knew where the back of the net was. He only scored 20 goals in a couple of seasons on the spin, Reid, and we haven't really got that sort of presence up there, apart from maybe Bundu, whether we try Bundu in the centre forward position. But certainly not a Hardy game. He's better with his feet and creativity, but yeah.
difficult. I mean, when I think Hardy, don't forget, was not necessarily on the cards. Pleggy either. To be fair, I didn't realise actually before. Wonder why Gavin, who can't join us tonight because he's got flu. But evening, Gav. Hope you feel better soon. Sort of said when the lineup came out, Pleggy's in, and I was like, well, I expected that anyway. And then I realised that actually he wasn't anticipated to be in the starting lineup because of an injury. But Hardy, obviously, with that shoulder, coming back in, I mean, which is even more difficult. They're not going to play him unless, to a degree, he's fully fit. So, but that shoulder isn't going to help if you need to launch yourself up when he can't win headers at the best of times. Obviously, Beidou getting a second start again. You can see on the screen, the FOT mob, sort of ratings against both sets of players on each team. But yeah, I mean, Carl,
we had no bite in midfield either. Sorry, we had no bite in midfield. Just coming back to the midfield, and JB and Randall together don't play together.
No, and picking up on Carl's point about Randall and JB, I mean, we said it last time. Sort of they played a lot of minutes, and given a lot to the cause. But JB, even in the first half, I said to the guy sat next to me, we both just went, he looks like tired already, and we were like 30 odd minutes in. And I think it's interesting then that they're persevering with that. And, if that's just because of the options that we've got that are limited, then fine. But Carl, he definitely, they looked, I mean, Randall's got one of the best scores, obviously outside of Grimshaw.
It's really difficult because we haven't got many options. Obviously, Forshaw's gone to Blackburn now. I know he was never an option, but at least he had a bit of experience. But I think Plymouth. I think Randall gets a bit of a kind of a pass by because he's a Plymouth lad. He's had good games this season, but I think he's just been overused, hasn't he? Because we haven't got any other options in there. JB's had some good games for us this season, especially. I think in a lot of games he tends to start slower and then gets better as the game went on. But yesterday he just was poor throughout the first 45 minutes, and hence why he got taken off. But we need some added reinforcements in that midfield because we're just getting overrun. We just look knackered. We don't seem to have any ideas, and they're not strong enough. Like Muslic said in the press conference afterwards, nobody's winning second balls, nobody's pressing, and the duels, nobody's strong enough to go in for a duel. Everyone's kind of backing off or letting someone else try and go in there, and it's just nobody kind of knew what their jobs were yesterday. And until he brings in his own players that have got a bit of strength and a bit of determination to go in for tackles and things, we're not going to see the just rewards. I mean, that Frey for QPR, that's the type of striker we need up there to use his system perfectly. He was a menace all game, I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens against Burnley. But it'd be typical Argyle to go and put in a performance and beat Burnley. Hence Leicester last season, how we played against Brentford as well. We seem to play better against teams that will come at us. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, it's just, it's incredibly demoralising, with all of that, and something actually I was saying to the guys before coming on, and it does get your emotions going strong. And I think, football is just a game, but, it's life for a lot of people. And, sort of you hate it when you see a team doing and playing as bad as they are. And certainly with the circumstances over the last 12 months, it really does, after the success before, it's just the jubilation of that, and it's difficult. It really is difficult. And, sort of Marcus, I think, we could see in our WhatsApp group after the game, it got quite feisty quite quickly, didn't it? Because you're passionate, and that's why I suppose doing these on a Sunday allows us to calm down a little bit and just think it through. But it's still raw, isn't it?
Yeah, but usually when a new manager comes in, you have that bounce where you have a good start off pretty good. We haven't had that. It's like it's gone back to like the Foster era.
Yeah.
But regarding JB, I would have started. I don't understand why he doesn't get more game time. Roberts.
Yeah, I think it's a fair shout.
Because they look pretty good against Brentford.
Yeah, considering their physical side, Premier League side,
Exactly.
sort of Roberts hasn't got the biggest physique.
It's very strange how we always see Roberts in FA Cup games, but he doesn't seem to get a look in for league games, which is very, very strange. But yeah, I don't see a reason why we can't try him in more games. If our players are tired and knackered, give the lad a go. He's got strength. Yeah. He's filled out a little bit as well the last 12 months, so why not? Yeah.
Well, I thought he played well against Leeds when we started at Leeds up at Ellen Road. I thought he played very well then.
Yeah,
I don't get why he changed the winning side. I mean, you go and win our first away game of the season, and we've changed the side completely. Why don't we just keep that same team that beat Brentford?
It's difficult. I mean, Harvey, there's a lot of short games together. We were all hoping with these 3 home games that we would get at least 6 points out of them. I think everybody writ off Burnley because of who it is. But it's tiring, isn't it? And it is those fitness levels and not having the depth of squad is really, and has done for months. That the lack of investment, or whatever you might look at it as difficult and challenging as that is, it really does come to roost when you get into that second half of the season. But for us, it was a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think, the run of games, it's not easy to be a footballer. It is a tight schedule in the season, and hence why they get that long period off. But I think some of it is that it's down to Argyle himself, whether it was Rooney when he was in charge and now Muslic, which we've seen. I think the substitutions are far too late. I think, we've seen there Mumba and Baidu coming off with 10 minutes to go. You can't do a lot in 10 minutes. So I think if it's just my thought, but if you space the subs out, if you've got them on at 60, 65, 70, giving them players half an hour rest and giving them players half an hour a go, it could benefit the squad more. It's more rest and recovery time for the players that are tired, and it's more game time, more fitness levels for the players that are coming on. And I think it's rotational as well. I think, like we've just said there about Caleb Roberts, I think he's definitely it might be a bit far to say that he's championship quality, but every time he's put on a shirt, he's done a good performance. So that should hinder him ready enough for me to start.
Yeah, I think so. Just to point this out from Steve, who's just posted this. there's the reality check of obviously if you exclude the FA Cup, but that just really is bad, isn't it?
Looking at a comment like that and then thinking we need 30 points. Where on earth are these 30 points going to come from?
Well,
I think it's say it again, Harvey.
Our next 3 games, you look at Burnley, Sunderland, and West Brom. That's you can't see. You can't. If you're a betting person, you're not betting on Argyle in any 3 of them.
No. I've got a slide on those the next 6 games coming because that's what FOTMob shows you before you scroll next. So I thought I'll just pick that up there rather than depress us by looking at all the last 18 or 19 games we've got to go. I think if we sort of looking at the player ratings there. And it was good. I think the 2 saves at the end for Grimshaw, who I'm coming on to, against Oxford were massive for his confidence. He did look edgy, in that game for most of it. And then, he comes into this game, Marcus, and, pulls off 2/3, but certainly 2 amazing saves again. And he was coming out and punching. He was trying to get out of his box a bit more as well. He seemed to get his confidence back. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. I think it's something to do with those saves he did against Oxford. He looked a totally different player, but when you're playing week in, week out and away and you're losing 4 or 5-0 every time, it's going to affect your confidence.
Yeah.
So, but, good couple of games, his confidence is back. So, which is good. So, Hazard should be back soon, shouldn't he? So, there's competition now. But there's no way we're gonna stay up. It's a case of rebuilding. We ain't gonna get 30 points. We'd be lucky to get 15.
No, and I think I always say, and I put it on a post the other day, in terms of try not. I highlighted it just now. Not let it get to you too much because mentally it can be draining, especially because it's gone on as long as it has. And that doesn't help. But until it's mathematically impossible, there's always a chance. The frustrating thing is that, and I'll show it actually, I'll just jump to this slide because Steve Vaughan, who's in the chat with us tonight watching, sent me this, which is the form book over the last 6 games. But I mean, look who's top. I mean, Andy, Oxford, who changed their manager obviously before Christmas, when we probably should have done the same. It's easy in hindsight now, but I mean, look where they are, right at the top of that.
We talked about Oxford and QPR being teams that we should beat. Well, should we? they're the informed teams in the league. Oxford under a new manager have been resurgent, and apart from a blip in the cup, they've done really well in the last few games, haven't they? Well, they've won 4 and drawn 2, so that's good. That's
You got
promotion form, isn't
QPR
it?
up there. Look at it. I mean, even Hull are 9th up there, Cardiff 11th.
So they're all finding results and grinding results out, particularly QPR. QPR started off; they were down with us, if you remember, the start of the season. They were bottom, near the bottom of the league, and all of a sudden they got a new manager coming in. Hint, Argyle new manager. They got a new manager in, and all of a sudden they just turned their season around and they're resurgent. That's what we saw yesterday. They were hard to break down and hard to beat yesterday.
Yeah, but the difference between Oxford and us, for example, they got billionaire backers who are willing to get the checkbook out.
Yeah,
I mean, he hasn't even got any backroom stuff taken with him, and he's signed no one.
Yeah. I want to
look at QPR. You got to look at Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday fall into that category, don't they? Sheffield Wednesday were down near us, and they're fifth in the league there.
Yeah, I do. In terms of a bit more specifically on Muslic, and the situation, around his backroom staff, etc. We'll come on to in a minute. But I think, if I go to the next slide, we're always looking for, the positives in a game, and it's very hard when you are getting the performances that you're getting. I'm just going to check through some of the comments as well. I do want to bring this back. This comment, I did show it, and I just want to bring it back up. And if I can see it, it was the one about Hardy that someone had posted about just not. Where is it here? Andy Prowse. I'm not picking on you, Andy, specifically, but does not deserve to wear the shirt, can't even trouble a defender. That I have to absolutely, totally disagree with you on. And I think if you're looking at just the recent performances and form, yes, it's been difficult for Hardy, but he is still arguably one of the best strikers Argyle have had. And I think in all this disruption that's going on, and the squad being an issue, as Marcus was alluding to there, the investment side, there's a lot of pressure then on these players to try and perform, and some of them, as we know, in the game against Oxford, at Christmas time away, him and Whittaker came in even though they were carrying injuries. So, I can understand people feeling that way against Hardy, but that sort of comment, I think, isn't fair overall.
Can I jump in on that one?
Yeah, go on.
I mean, I kind of get where he's coming from. I don't agree with not fit to wear the shirt. I think that's bang out of order. But I think he reached his ceiling in League One. He's a decent League One striker, but I think the Championship's a whole different ball league for him. I don't think he's got the strength. The way we're going to play now going forward, it's not going to suit him either, because we're not going to give him balls to feet or playing him through. It's all going to be kind of long and using strength to win the second balls. I don't think he's that type of striker. And again, maybe he's had his head turned with the Wrexham rumours going around a few weeks ago as well, which maybe not off the cards as far as we know, so that could still happen. But he's been a loyal servant to the club. He's given us some great memories, great goals, and he still can do that given the chance and a run of games. But I don't think that's a fair comment, really.
No, we're missing the point.
Go on. Yeah, go on. No, go on, mate.
I was just thinking we're missing the point that he had a shoulder injury a couple of weeks ago. You're not going to recover from that too quickly, are you? And also, his confidence is down. You can see it. He needs a goal, like Whittaker needed a goal. Yeah.
Well, this is the interesting thing, with it, and that is, games in the Championship. It's absolutely paramount to take your chances. Oxford had that one brilliant chance in the first half and thunderbolt into the top corner, and they took it. Argyle had chances, had some breakaways, but at times, actually watching us, it's like we're trying to walk the ball into the goal because no one's brave enough to take a shot. And I think the pressure, in that sense, on the players. Park the salaries and all that stuff, the pressure has been quite immense. But I think, when you have those chances, you have got to convert them. And that's where we seem to be struggling. We can't create enough of them. And then when we do get them, we're not converting those. I mean, is that fair to say, Harvey? It is all about pitting those balls away when you get given them.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's for an Argyle fan like myself, which has gone regularly home and away for the last few years, and before that going, it's a common theme with Argyle that we always try walk the ball in, that we've never We've never been a team to pop shots off since the exit of Carey, you could say. I think Carey was a player which you'd know when he picked up the ball and he had a yard, he was going to shoot. But yeah, it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating.
Well, it's even just picking up on Sam's point there and Curtis' comment I just showed. So thanks, guys, for your comments. Everybody else, please put some of those in the chat and we'll show them. And any questions, equally, we'll discuss those. What was clear yesterday, and I've got I think the stats. Are they on this next slide? Yeah, it wasn't great from a shots perspective, was it? So actually, I don't know where the one shot on target came from, actually, let alone the 4 that we've had. But if that says anything about the lack of strike force up front, not really. There was just no proper balls getting to the Hardy, bless him, up front, was there?
Yeah.
So no difficult.
Callum right shot was probably the only decent effort we had, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
actually, I remember that. Yeah, that was a good
Al
shot.
Haj in the first half.
Yeah, Andy, respectfully, has just put a post in. I've just put it on the screen. I shouldn't have put it that way. Sorry, agree, League One player, but we are 10 men with him. That's just it. This is what I go on about the emotions. It's so raw because it's been so frustrating and so bad for so long. The win against Brentford, I think we all had a massive release of emotions, because to win against a team like that. But yeah, it is difficult. And this is what I mean. Look, people will put things on X, myself included, and you think, I should have considered that a bit more in hindsight and all this sort of stuff, because you just love your team. And actually, a point and note, above all else, whatever you might think about the owners, people that work at the club, are they doing their job, this, that, and the other, there's no one that is not trying to make sure this club stays up. And it is just not always as easy as it is to achieve. But the star men, we mentioned Gibson, Grimshaw, Jesus, sorry. Did he actually start? Did he start in Preston's game?
That's a good question. I'm going to have a look now.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
He didn't in their first one when he joined, because I think it was a bit short notice to jump straight in. But yeah, look, Grimshaw, as we said, has had a lot of pressure. Has had a lot of the goals under him go in. But absolutely man of the match performance yesterday. And to side note, Poulsen again, in that position, centre back, having another great game along with Pleggy. I think they're the 3, sort of markers that really do stand out alongside the others, because they were trying to fight for everything.
Yeah, but the only thing is, though, Muslic doesn't play usually with the back 4. He usually plays with the back 3. So it would be interesting to see how the team actually progresses when he does get another centre back in to play a back 3. So, I mean, you can.
Marcus, do you think? Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say, do you think? And this is like for me on tactical side, it's not my thing at all. But obviously, Mumba tends to play a little bit forward anyway. So there was a lot of times where it transitioned to a 3 as he sort of progressed up the pitch. Or is that just me getting it completely wrong?
Wow, go on.
It was a back 4 yesterday, but yeah, he did adventure up the pitch when he could. But for me, Mumba's not a fullback. He needs to be in that wing back position. That's where we see the best of him. But if we continue with a back 4, then we don't go with Mumba. We go with Sorinola.
Yeah, no, I think so. And speaking of Sorinola, I think he came on. But yeah, carry on, Marcus. Sorry.
Yeah, because that's the only mistake. The 2 mistakes I think is Sorinola's a better defender, and the thing I don't understand is our most creative player, Al Haj, he took off. I don't get that.
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, it's that's. I think that's the one thing where sort of you can definitely say. I think it's right. It's right to question Muslic, but that decision baffled everybody.
And another thing, Harvey is correct about. How late does he need to bring the subs on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to, Carl, if you're on the screen, just have a look at when we did start to make the changes. But yeah, Harvey, it is
17-8.
taking off someone like Al Haj, who, in fairness to him, probably could and should deserve now, in hindsight, to be up on this page here. That flick, we'll see it. I've got the highlights reel for what it's worth, folks, but it's like that flick in the first half, that nearly from across from Pukac. I mean, that was just unreal. That could have easily gone in. But, yeah, to take him off, you're almost like... It felt a bit, if I'm honest, like the subs on Tuesday night with Better and Houghton coming on.
Why?
Yeah,
Harvey?
It's sort of starting to feel again, like Marcus said with the Foster era. I don't want to put the two in the same bracket because it's too early to call. But it sort of starts to feel to me that like the subs are pre-planned. Like personally, of myself, when you saw Bundu and Sissoko warming up down the corner, and then as soon as QPR score, personally myself, as soon as QPR score, that I'm getting them on straight away. I'm not bringing Bundu on and then waiting 10 and bringing Sissoko on. For me, I think that it's seeming too planned, like it did with Foster, and it's too slow.
We made the Callum Wright substitution on the 60th minute. I don't understand why we left it another 14 minutes then to bring on Bundu at 74. And then on the 80th minute, we bring on Sorenella and Sissoko. I don't understand why we take off Al Haj and bring on Callum Wright, who's got no goals and no assists all season, and then wait another 14 minutes to get Bundu on, who's been in great form recently with the goals he scored. I just don't understand it.
No, the obvious one was Hardy was struggling up front, wasn't he? And then Bundu, in fairness to him, when he came on, Harvey I felt impacted the game a bit more, if I'm honest.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and going back to the El Haj point is that you've got to remember we brought El Haj in the summer for, what was it, a region of about 800,000, going on to 1 million. For a player of that fee, of that, caliber that we're buying, you've got to look at it now as in that he's had enough time to settle down. He's had half a season. He's broke into the team. How come he's not allowed to have 90 minutes of football, and how come he can't express himself for 90 minutes? And I think, like you said about that flick is only a little bit to come from him. We can sort of see that he's a flair player. And I think, in all fairness, every time he gets the ball on the edge of the box, he does look to shoot. So I did disagree with the with bringing El Haj off. Yeah.
I'm just going to mute Andy. He's obviously disappeared to do something, left his microphone on. So just taking him off. Just the point on Sissoko, Harvey. He doesn't necessarily, you'd immediately say, say Muslic style, but he came on and just barely got the ball, didn't he? I mean, I know getting the ball up was tough anyway, but he barely got a touch on, and you do wonder whether or not he is still carrying, because why aren't we bringing him on earlier to echo that point? The last two games, even against Oxford, he didn't really get to be involved in the match.
Yeah. I feel so sorry for him. I feel so sorry because when he come in, there was all that excitement, especially around people my age that know him from FIFA and stuff. But and he excited the fans. He gave us, that bit of flair, that bit of enthusiasm, put the scare into defenders, and the injuries clearly rocked him. And I think that it's not fair on him to be put on the bench given 10 minutes. With us fans knowing what he can do, he knows what he can do. Everyone knows what he can do, and he's not being given the time, the space, or anything to be able to show it. So, I think he's probably lost his spark a little bit. He's probably not involved mentally with it. He probably wants to go back home, get back to Toulouse as soon as possible.
Yeah. I just want to bring up this comment again. Evening, Katie. Katie talks Rovers. Yes, Blackburn Rovers, if you can't tell from that or the profile pic. Katie used to join us on our TikTok lives. So it's very easy to bring people in and out, a bit like Spaces on X. With video, Katie used to come on and join us and talk about the games, and so it's always good to and any other women that are watching, that sort of subject has come up, a couple of times recently. We're more than happy to have anyone on, and if anybody does want to sort of join us, then get in touch. and we'll look to plan it in so you can come on and have a bit of a give your view. It's good than just listening to all of us. But back to the subs, Carl, as Andy is now back. But back to those subs. Yeah, Callum Wright for Al Hajj when the crowd were already, and I actually felt, personally, in the second half, both teams were trying to go at each other. It felt, a bit end to end, and you thought, "Oh, this is tasty," And we were defending really well. We went up and had a go at them as well. But then, it just. Come on to Mumba's slip up in a minute, but with Rami Al Hajj and stuff like that, where you think, they can influence, then bringing them on for Callum Wright. And Callum Wright, I think, has done really well in certain games. Exclude that Oxford where he got sent off. But it's just, I still can't get over that one. And you do have to then question Muslic's decision on that.
Yeah, hands down. Then he got sent off at Coventry, not Oxford.
Sorry, thank you.
Yeah. But I mean, you kind of know what you're getting with Callum Wright. The trouble is, he doesn't give us any goal threat with him when he gets into positions to let rip. With his shots, they're just so weak and timid. I just don't understand that substitution at all. I would have had Bondu on at 60 minutes and then Sissoko a lot earlier. The Callum Wright substitution completely thrown me. I completely agree with bringing on Houghton at half time because JB was well off it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Again, Caleb Roberts could have been another option coming on with instead of Jordan Houghton, like we said earlier. But the trouble is we don't have the options at the minute. We've still got a few injuries. I think TJ might be back soon because he's been in a lot of training videos of late. So it'd be nice if we can get him back into the squad next week. So he must be very, very, very close now. And I think that'd be the perfect opportunity for Muslic to throw him in and use him as the target man to try and get the ball sticking up top to win these second balls. I still think he's got a lot to offer. He looked really decent in pre-season. But he hasn't had the minutes this season to really properly judge. Everyone at Sheffield Wednesday was poor, so I don't think we can judge him on that. His last appearance coming off the bench, I thought he was quite good for those 10-15 minutes. So I still think he's got a lot to offer. Yeah,
absolutely. I'll tell you what I'm going to do quickly now is let's get on to the highlights.
Jameson Ginger
care of Sky Sports. Let me just turn the sound down a bit. I thought I'd leave their advert in. We're using their video. So, here we go. Here's the flick that's coming up first off, I believe. So good work by Al Hajj there in the middle. And just look at that. Oh, my days. That is what he's about, isn't it? It's probably fair, isn't it, to say that, the Sissoko, obviously, with all the tricks, and the Hajj has done some, when those come off, they look great. When they go absolutely wrong, they're terrible. But that is the quality that he can bring. That's a chance out of nothing, isn't it?
Yeah, but what quality that Puchka's got putting that ball in, his left foot is ridiculous. And if we can get him on the ball as much as possible to put those crosses in, then we're going to benefit from him.
Yeah, and he definitely did improve with his corners as well as he promised. This is the shot. Yeah, just went wide of the near post. He was a nightmare for Argyle. His pace.
Yeah.
That number 11. Is it Smith or something? Paul Smith? Oh, incredible.
He got there.
This is Grimshaw getting stuck in. There you go. Look, I mean, to be fair, good punch, and he managed to deflect it with his legs as well.
Has to be brave and get out and get the punch. Gets a foot to the second one as well. Good goalkeeping.
There you go. Gets up quickly. Look, there we go. Gets up, just gets his leg out. So
again, deep towards Dunn. Again, it's a dangerous header.
Deep at the back post. We did live on the edge a little bit in the first half. Look at that. Cover from Hardy on the back post, though, if it was going goalward. These are 3 minutes, these highlights, but
JB there didn't even challenge that at all.
No, that's
run it back a little bit if you can.
Yeah.
Run it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Just lets it run past. Look, nothing.
So just looking at that, you've got Pukac and Poulsen who are trying to. Well, Poulsen's obviously trying to follow the player there. Can't see who that is actually. And JB trying to backtrack, but he does. Yeah, just. I mean, clip him if anything. Look, I mean, they're through.
Great save as well.
Yeah. And seeing that right in front of us, effectively from our seats in the block line, was that was impressive.
Scrambled across and made the biggest save of the match.
Huge chance. So they didn't take every chance. They took an important one, though.
Cleared
by Mumba. Oh, it must be Frey.
This is incredible. That when you see the angle in a second on that save, it's incredible.
That was super.
Here we go.
Brilliant save.
Look at that, just sticks out that hand.
Oh,
there
dear.
it is. So
I don't want to see that again.
I just want to pause it here. Yeah, so the ball went like so high up in the air. And you're almost one of those ones where he probably had time to quickly look around himself. But clearly you can see you got Whittaker just coming into frame at the bottom there, and that's possibly Pleggy trying to track back as well. So he managed to run straight through because he preempted a mistake. And there he goes, that toe poke.
But again, Mumba does not put a challenge in when the ball comes back up from Grimshaw.
Yeah, I will add for Mumba. So here we go. Yeah, look, you can't see anybody else around that player. Was that Paul Smith that running through there? It's or Smythe, whatever he's called. But yeah, there's no one else around him, so he's preempting a potential mistake. Which, to be fair, when you try and bring a ball down from that height, there's always a danger it's going to not stay at your feet. So yeah, he preempted it and he did well.
It sort of reminded me of the mistake he made at Millwall earlier on in the season, where you look at it now. That's two mistakes has cost Argyle at least 2 points.
Yeah. Was the Millwall one at home, Harvey?
No, it was away.
Wasn't there? I'm trying to remember if there was one. I thought it was at home, but I could be wrong. Where he had no pressure on him, but then that sort of initially, then a defender came onto him. He tried to do his drop the shoulder and turn, and then got caught and slipped over, and then ran on and they scored a goal. I don't know if that was a Millwall one, but that thing happened at Millwall, so I don't know if it happened twice. Yeah, it's one of those where he's a great player and there's been a brilliant signing for us, but he just has those moments. And actually, just before that, do you remember the throw-in that he had just before that incident that he threw back our end and completely didn't get it to an Argyle player, and they went through and had an attack.
Just take your bloody gloves off when you throw a football, for Christ's sake, man.
Yeah. Well, some people might say, Carl, take your gloves off. Full stop. Don't come out on the pitch. But I will say to Mumba, I mean, that was tough. I think the only player that went up to him, and I think it was only one, was possibly Poulsen, who was doing that to a lot of people. I know Morgan was trying to jeer him up at the halfway line and just go and forget about it, it's done. But he did put in a brilliant blocking tackle probably 5 or so minutes after that, where they had a shot at goal on the 18-yard line. So don't show it here, but I thought it's worth just noting that, because that can really hit you when you know that you're struggling for goals. And it obviously did cost us in the end. So as frustrating as it is.
But going on to his mistakes, if I was a player like Grimshaw having the game that I've had, 3 or 4 important saves in that first half, a couple before that goal happened, even the attack which led to the goal, a good save initially, I'll be absolutely seething.
Mm. Yeah, no, absolutely. Let me just switch back to this slide, just go back to the stats page. So, yeah, so I watched Mumba actually after the goal, just to sort of see how his mentality and body language was going to be, and he did try and pick himself up and get on with it. But I think, regardless of if there's Leeds interested in him or not, if we do sell him on, it will be for a decent amount of money, and another good bit of business for the club. But yeah, he does try and want to get forward all the time, doesn't he? Which is why it leaves him exposed at the back. But it's just those rush of bloods, Andy. It just needs to just sort of take it easy, don't rush it. And it's like I said, the throw in that he did before that, going straight to their player, and they went on and had an attack then. So you just got to don't panic, just calm it down, slow the game down if you have to.
You got mute, Andy.
I did unmute him. Hang on. He might be muted his end. Try again. No, can't.
Still on mute.
Yeah, I took him off. So, and Nathan will come out and come back. Oh, there, go on. Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, guys. It's frustrating because if we slow the game down a bit, we're making too many mistakes when we rush. And I know Randall made a couple of mistakes yesterday. Mumba made a couple of mistakes yesterday. And it's just like, slow it down and look for your players rather than try to play this quick, fast football. And I know that's what Muslic wants to bring in, fast attacking football. But we've got to have the players to be able to play it, and we just haven't got that at the minute. It's just like, slow down.
Yeah, I did. I'm just sort of looking back at my notes, actually, to the left of me here. And one of the things I did notice in the first half, I was trying to watch where I could, because, to be fair, the game wasn't exciting in that first half in a lot of the spells. But I was trying to look at what Muslic was doing and how he was reacting and engaging with the players. And it did feel to me, and someone else, sort of correct me if I'm wrong here, but it did feel to me that he kept doing this to Morgan Whittaker. So when Plaguey had the ball on the right, coming forward from the back a little bit, it seemed to be an element of where he was telling Plaguey to try and bring it further forward. Then he was trying to ask Morgan to come in because Morgan was hovering too much, just off centre. Morgan didn't seem to engage in that. Did anybody else see that? Was anybody else watching Muslic during the game?
I saw a little bit of it, and yeah, I sort of get where you're coming from. I think possibly it was Muslic, because Muslic must know by now Morgan Whittaker's a threat when he's on the ball, and defenders, if he isn't going to create a chance, he's going to create a foul. But possibly that might be something Morgan Whittaker's scared of getting injured again. Possibly doesn't want to spend any more time out and doesn't want to risk it. Possibly.
Yeah, it could well be. It's always a difficult one, isn't it? When if a player's linked to sort of see and monitor their attitude on the pitch. I know someone sort of said, I saw on X earlier about pulling out of challenges and stuff like that. Sometimes that is Whittaker. Even in recent games, we've seen him get proper stuck in, as well. So I don't understand it. Like some of the players are sort of very consistently inconsistent, but it will be a shame if he does go, then that will be a shame. But that money that could bring, I think right now, where this investment, and we'll come on to that a bit more in a minute, is not necessarily coming, could be so valuable right now. Let me just move on. We won't dwell on the stats. I do have, I nearly uploaded all three actually, but I decided not to. We'll go to Muslic's, this is the free clip that Argyle put up. So it's only the shortcut. I'm not going to rip them
Thoughts on that?
A terrible performance, far away from deserving anything today. And this was also the message that was to the team, because we have to realize the situation we are in, and we are in this situation together. And the only way out of this is to compete, to challenge, to win duels, and to show that we can be physical. And today we lacked that. So it was a very much deserved victory for QPR, and that hurts.
Yeah, so I'm going to switch to this view if I can get down to it. Let's get us a bit more in view. Carl, I think you and Marcus and Harvey, you may well have Argyle TV, Andy and I don't. But yeah, how did you, even the press conference at the end, Carl, how did you sort of feel? Because I've seen comments about his post-match comments probably gave him a bit more credit, for admitting that we were just poor, the duels, etc. He mentioned, trying to fight for your battles. How else did he see it from what you watched?
He was absolutely bang on with everything that he said. We weren't winning the duels. We weren't aggressive. I think the players need to understand where we are in the league, and they need to realise we're up for a massive fight. If we want to stay in this league, they need to start performing now before it becomes too late, especially the next 3 games coming up. And I hope he can start to install a bit of belief and a bit of passion into trying to at least attempt to try and get out of where we are. If we can beat Burnley, I don't see a reason why not. We've done it against bigger teams before, and try and get up to 24 points and go from there. But I think if we see another loss and then the way to Sunderland, which is going to be extremely difficult, I think we'll be dead and buried. But yeah, he was bang on with what he said. And obviously the clip you'll show with Plaguey next regarding signing players and the Gibson replacement, which was very interesting. I've never seen a player come out and actually say we need players in the window to give us a helping hand. It's like a rallying cry from the player to come on, give us a hand.
Well, I tell you what, let me run that clip now. The only one I didn't pick up was Grimshaw's, but let me just run that.
Burnley coming on Wednesday. You mentioned it already. Big game. One of the sides that are the absolute standouts this year. It's going to be tough, isn't it? But we've seen some magical nights at Home Park.
Of course. I think we should focus it a little bit like we did against Leicester last season. We need to have that mentality. It's not a free hit. Brentford wasn't a free hit for us. We know it. So we need to have that mentality that, like, every point we need to fight for our lives at the minute, and we can't just keep saying, "Oh, come on, we have 18 games left, 17 games left." No, we need to do it now. The time is to react is now. And next game is Burnley, so we've got to go for it. Like, there's no other choice. We've got to go for it. Like, there's no other choice.
Now, there's an interesting one, and I love Plaguey because, you know, we've said it a few times in recent episodes. Him and Sorinola specifically, like when they've been given their chances, they've absolutely grabbed them with both hands. And Sorinola's probably been unfortunate with, you know, the likes of Pukac coming in and stuff like that, but. Yeah, I do love Plaguey. Was it much? Because Andy said he picked up potentially rumours that he was calling out players, but I don't know where that would have been.
No, he was calling out to sign players that they obviously know they're very weak at the back with the numbers at the moment. I think they're struggling probably for fitness and energy because they're the ones that are doing all the work at the minute. We need reinforcements in defence, and I've never seen a player come out and actually physically say, you know, we need players, we need help on the pitch, and to say, you know, about Gibson as well, saying we haven't replaced Gibson. You know, you don't really hear players come out and say that.
Zeus is in there.
We've had enough time now to replace Gibson. If he was talking to Preston 2 weeks before he left, we've had nearly a month or 3 weeks to replace him, and we haven't even done it.
No, no, and also, you know, sort of, Andy, I think you were saying now about Zooks, obviously he's still injured. Do we know how severe, how that injury is? Have we got any expected ETAs for return on that?
I've not heard anything on that side of it, to be fair. So I don't know, Mike.
It is interesting, though, Andy, isn't it? It is interesting, isn't it? How, you know, since Gibson's gone, you know, the sort of defence with Plaguey and Poulsen, you know, Galloway obviously when he was in, you know, Sorinola, Pukac now, etc. Does seem to just be absolutely dying on the line there. Gibson did as well. I'm not saying that he didn't, but, you know, the fact that we haven't conceded as many, we've still conceded, you know, is testament to those guys. And they are the ones that are having to really put a shift in because we're not holding the ball up and keeping it up there, you know. So got to be, because that depth is a problem, as he's admitted, Andy, isn't it? Because if one of them gets injured, like he was possibly going to miss the game, that's huge, isn't it?
That's it. So we've only got at the moment to the two centre backs, Poulsen and Pleguezuelo. We haven't got any cover for that. We got no Zooks. You know, we just haven't got players there to take those positions if they get injured.
Thanks, Gavin. Yeah,
thanks, Gavin.
So Zooks back in about 8 to 10 days.
So that could take us to Sunderland. You know, hopefully Sunderland, but. Yeah, we just got no cover for them. We need to get, just like Marcus said earlier on, we need to get a couple of decent centre backs in, you know, who can play there.
Let me, I'm going to sort of dodge that. Let me just get to these next 6 games. So reason why I'm only showing 6 is because I just took a screenshot from FotMob and I didn't want to have loads of slides and loads of tiles because there's no point in looking too far ahead. But Marcus, so obviously we got our next big game against Burnley. Wouldn't it just be typical of Argyle to go in there and pull out a performance at home against an informed side like Burnley who are looking like they will go up? Is that not just going to be typical us on Wednesday, or is it going to be an absolute pasting?
Yeah, but that's exactly what we did against Leicester last season. You know, it isn't impossible to get out of this position, but like the last said, we need players, and we need players now. You know, because there is rumours there's a couple of players coming this week, so hopefully we should have them by Sunday.
Yeah, well, so that would be good, wouldn't it? I mean, I think out of these 6 games, 4 are home, 2 are away, the 1 FA Cup tie. I mean, and actually, speaking of which, Harvey, that's the FA Cup, like it did for us last season. It wasn't ideal with the Leeds, with the replay, on a cold, wet, rainy night. That took it into extra time. You can see there was a number of players, we've said it before, that were dead on their legs. So to have, I know it's Liverpool, so it's great from a club perspective down here, but it's almost like, did that impact us? That, big, heavy, sort of game, sorry, heavy defeat, as I say, big win, but that was a tough game for them against Brentford. Do you want this FA Cup run or not?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Brentford was a completely different setup, completely different team. I haven't seen this season an Argyle team play like they did against Brentford. It was just amazing. You know, being in that away crowd, that atmosphere there. I don't think it'll be top this year, even if we stay up. It was magical, and to think now we've got a home tie and there's no replays, which I do disagree with. I think there definitely should be replays in the FA Cup. Tamsworth robbed of a replay.
Yeah, hands down.
You know, you could go on for ages about it, but having no replays, it sort of helped us out. And Music's got that decision come the second weekend of February, and decides whether he wants to put out a team that's going to give Liverpool a game, or he takes it as an opportunity to get the players who haven't had a good run of games, Caleb Roberts, Azaka, Opafemi if he's back, Galloway if he's fit, you know, and just takes that 6-7 and gets it over and done with, which either or I would be happy with, because I think by far we've had our fun with Brentford, and I'm sure we'll all have a laugh with Liverpool, but I'd much rather us stay in the league.
Yeah, of course, that's what it's about. I mean, I'm glad to a degree that the game is at home. You know, it's great going away and getting a big ticket game, and all that money helps any club. But it's that journey, you know, and all that sort of stuff going on. And if we look at it, I mean, you know, sort of Burnley, Sunderland, then away. You know, so another tough one. That's not going to be easy. You know, West Brom. I mean, they're not getting easier, are they? And Luton. I mean, what you know, Luton away, but imagine where either of us could be when we get up to that. I mean, Luton are now third from bottom, dragged in. They're second from bottom in that form league that we showed earlier. So that could be an interesting one going away. Then obviously the FA Cup tie, then Millwall at home, and then Katie's team Blackburn away on February the 15th. I mean, Andy, how many points do you think we're getting out of that?
I'd like to say maximum points, but I'm struggling to find out where we're going to get a point from any of these games. Possibly a point at Luton. Millwall, yeah, home win. Could be a home win there. They get nothing at Blackburn. West Brom's a possible point. Sunderland, nothing. And I think Burnley, at the way we're playing at the minute, nothing. But Argyle don't surprise me at all. They can pull results out. You know, they've done it before. So
yeah, it's like Carl. It's like I said to Marcus, isn't it? You know, could we do something against Burnley on Wednesday that surprises everybody? Then suddenly the mood is lifted again. But yeah, even for someone like me that tries to stay positive a lot of the time, trying to see where points are coming from when you look at the teams we're playing there, it's difficult, isn't it?
Well, if we need 30 odd points to survive, you're going to have to look at that set of fixtures and then need at least, you know, kind of 9 or 10 points at least, because we need. I don't know how many points per game we need to stay up, but a lot more than we've been getting at the moment. So I just hope that we take some inspiration from the Brentford game, earlier games in the season when we beat Blackburn when they were top, Luton, Sunderland, Leicester last season. There's no reason why we can't give Burnley a game. If we turn up and put in, you know, pride in the shirt and want to play for the club to keep us up, there's no reason why we can't beat Burnley. Sunderland, that be potentially a free hit. They're going to be strong at home, aren't they? Joe Bellingham. Imagine Joe Bellingham against Randall and JB. I mean, it's a mismatch.
Yeah, literally tear them apart right now.
Literally.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And has West Brom got a new manager yet? Are they still looking?
Mowbray. No, not
yeah.
Mowbray.
Oh, Mowbray's gone back. So again,
Mowbray?
yeah, they're gonna get stronger. I think with Mowbray back. I'm sure they'll have a new manager bounce. Same with Luton. Bloomfield's only just gone in.
It's tough.
So yeah,
I reckon we'll beat Liverpool though. There you go.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I think just two players that we haven't really we touched upon Pukac actually a little bit, and one player we haven't really, I don't think we've mentioned really apart from very early on, is Beidou, and obviously the new signing. We know that he was a done deal pretty much, you know, over the winter break, waiting to get to the January window because we couldn't get him in the summer. You know, and he must be thinking, ooh, what have I walked into here? You know, he wasn't really in the game yesterday at all, was he, Marcus?
No, well, I'm hoping he goes a bit like Al had. It'll take him a few weeks. I know we ain't got time for it, but I don't think we're going to see the best of Beidou until next season.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And
I think Bailey should have gone off rather than Al Hadj.
Yes, well, I would have taken Hardy off knowing that he wasn't able to do much. But yeah, look, I could understand that with Beidou, and he does need to get into it and adjust to this league. He also, don't forget, it was their off season when we signed him, and that's again not ideal, because of the fact that he's not getting or has not got the match fitness that others will have. So just going to, as we sort of slowly start to wrap up, I had these two slides and sort of that opinion, as you guys know, and where has it gone wrong? And I'm like, do you know what? I don't want to dwell on this too much, but I think it's important to touch up on a couple of points here, because it's a lot of hot topics at the moment. So the last 12 months have been really tough. We said it when we went through the Muslic appointment pod the other day. The whole process, we know Foster was, sort of done over 3 weeks. Wasn't great. We were probably another risk that we took and clearly didn't work out. Then obviously we had the summer and we spent more time and appointed Rooney. And, and everything was done data. But, a few are questioning it. And it came up on the Pilgrims pod as well. Sort of it's like, yeah, there was no data really looked at there. There was other reasons. But Simon Hallett might be listening, might be watching this, or anyone else from the club and going, no, I can tell you now, that's how we did it. But I think that's the way it comes across and looks. Now, I haven't read the Hallett interview in full, listened to it. I just haven't had the time. So I'll come to you, Harvey, because I feel like you would have done. But Shuey was there on the cards, and I think we all would have been accepted.
Hello,
we lost you, Mike. Do you want to pull down, man? It's frozen. You lost you, Mike. So last 12 months. Anyone want to pick up on the last 12 months? Let's think about, I think, firstly, the appointment of Rooney. Was that a wise move or not?
No. Clearly it wasn't. I don't know what data they were looking at or what. It just brings me back to the Simon Jordan interview. I mean, I just don't know what we obviously looking at it now. It was clearly a massive PR stunt. Maybe we thought he might start to kickstart his career here. I did believe he might do. I thought we were the right club for him because we were quite stable. We weren't going through issues like Birmingham and Derby were at the time. I generally thought when the season kicked off, the amount of games we had and the performances we put in, like I said earlier, with the Blackburn result, the Sunderland result, the Luton game, we were playing good stuff under him. And then the injuries happened, and we, obviously changed formation, shapes, tactics, and it just went kind of downhill from there. Maybe that's when he started to, fall into his old ways off the pitch as well. We never really recovered from that, did we? And clearly the investment as well, the past 12 months we've been saying, or Simon's been saying that it's on the horizon and things, but still no news about that getting over the line either.
Do we want to get sort of to a point where we want to talk about director of football and that role that he had at the club, Jusenip? I'm not going to sort of pass any sort of blame or pass the buck to Jusenip because it's a team effort in the end. But do you think he was part of the problem?
I'm back.
I don't know whether it was part of the problem. I think that, I think the same with Rooney. I think Rooney had great ideas, but Rooney's style of management would only work in a high-level team such as a Real Madrid or a Man City, where the quality is there from people 14, 15, all the way up to 34, 35, where he didn't have that at Argyle and he's got money at his expense. But going on to Doonsnip, I think that he did do a lot for the club. I think that's without stating. He was a big instrumental role in us going up and helping Hallett, helping Shuey. And I do believe in the statement that you live long enough as the hero to see yourself become the villain, and that's unfortunately what's happened to him. Few little errors which everyone gets. We're all only human. So to make an error in life, or to mess something up, it should be normal. But everything's got to be justified for.
Right, I'm back. Can you hear me loud and clear, folks?
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that,
Yeah.
Mike? Can you hear that?
I'll shout louder.
Yeah.
Virgin seemed to blink on me, but what I do love about Restream is that it will carry on in the background, so I can see everybody's still here, including yourselves. Yeah, look, I obviously could tell what you were picking up on, and Andy, thanks for taking it over. So yeah. There's a lot. I don't want to dwell on this slide, and also I've got to take the little one, Sophie, up to bed in a minute. But it's certainly, it's been a horrible time of just decisions not going the way that anybody would hope they would go out, and it's difficult because, as we said on the last pod, they're all fans. Simon Hallett is looking for that investment. Yes, it's gone quiet. He touched upon it briefly. He's still hoping to get something over the line. But if you're an investor, you are going to be very much watching what's going on, and you're not going to go, oh yeah, go on, take my money. As Gavin put it, yeah, your value of your shares in the club are going to be up here and then suddenly drop down to there. So it's a difficult one.
So what do you think going forward on the investment, Mike? Do you think they're going to hold back now to kind of see where our season is going to go? Because if we go down, will they be still interested, or would they kind of reduce the money they're going to put into the club?
It depends. I'd like to think, that Simon sort of, had a really sort of good, honest conversation with them. There would have been a lot of positivity going into this season, obviously with Rooney and all that jazz. But I think it depends on how much money they got. We know he's been looking for a billionaire investor, and supposedly whoever this person is that. So they may well sort of say, right, yeah, actually, do you know what? I will come in. We'll still support the club if we do go down. Look to get us back up, and that cash could easily do that. It's never easy though when you go down, just to assume that. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one. I think, look, because we can't change that, and that situation isn't there yet, or we're not aware of what's going on. All I can say to people is don't worry about it. If they suddenly get signed up and then we don't see the money, then you've got to worry. But yeah, I mean, my last slide really on here is where do we go from here? Sort of Marcus, I think you touched upon it. Muslic and his backroom staff. Someone put in the comments, I think it was Pilgrim PE. We've had 3 managers come in, a very valid point, and they've come in straight away with no backroom staff, with Rooney included. You've got Edwards and obviously Nance that are supporting, which is helpful. But yeah, I mean, Marcus, I did hear, because you confirmed it. You picked up on it last week, I believe. He has got that guy that's supposedly going to join him soon.
Yeah, because one of his biggest assistants, because every top coach has that guy that's an assistant. You go back for years, like Cluffy Taylor and people like that. And his is the Wolf, a 44-year-old Belgian. Wherever Muslic goes, he goes. And also Muslic's got his own director of football that goes around with him as well. So you never know if he's joining as well. But they're both Belgian.
The thing is, though, Marcus, that Muslic took Cercle Bruges from the bottom of whatever league they were in Belgium, up to the sort of I'm not saying the top, but he got them in a respectable position in the league with very investment.
The only difference, I disagree with Muslic in that interview, or that when his first thing, the Belgian league is not as competitive as the Championship. That's the only difference I disagree with. Years ago, you might have had teams like Anderlecht who were good teams. They're not anymore. Yeah. So it's easier to go up the league than in this league.
And so the transfer market, how does that affect Muslic's appointment? Is he going to be able to bring his players in? Do we know if he's going to bring players in?
But the thing is, Muslic plays a different style to Rooney. So he wants the players to fit this style. So as the script book been ripped up and to go for new players, so you never know. Like we was linked to that player for Wickham, but that seems to have gone quiet. So I got a feeling there's 2 or 3 players coming from the continent.
Right. Okay.
That Muslic knows.
And what about sort of like when we talk about outgoings? There's all this talk about Whittaker and Mumba, and that's going to be affecting their game. We saw that with Mumba, didn't we?
if their heart's not here, because there was apparently 3 of them put a transfer in around Christmas time. Gibbo, Mumba, and Whittaker. If they don't want to be here, might as well get the money
Yeah.
and then use it to bring in the 5-6 players we need.
Yeah,
That's
You're not-
how I see it. That's how I see it, to be fair, because I see it as Mumba and Whittaker especially. They're players that we've brought in for £1 million plus. And we look at Whittaker, Swansea's got 20% of whatever we get. So, you know, to get valuable money for us and to get a decent amount to be able to invest back onto players, we need to start thinking about selling. If it's a region of a £12 million, is we going to get that again if we go down?
Got
You know,
hand off.
we're gonna be looking, I think, at breaking even on Mumba, and I think possibly be lucky to get 5 for Whittaker if we go down. So I think it's one of them where you got to decide whether you bite the bullet and get rid of them now and risk that ruining the rest of our season for the hope to rebuild next year, or you keep them and risk losing out on all that money.
I think
Am
we need
I
one
back?
eye on that. Oh,
You are
you're
back, Mike.
mate.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
okay,
just
cool.
talking about.
Sorry, folks. Virgin up and down. Go on, Carl.
I think we need one eye on next season as well, because it's looking pretty bleak for us. If we can strengthen in the hope of trying to get back next season in a stronger position, like kind of Birmingham have done, because they will come back up the next season. I think Wrexham will come up as well. Huddersfield probably got a decent chance. So if those 3 come back up, that league should be a little bit more easier, I would say, next season. So if we can strengthen to push up again next season, we need to kind of keep one eye on that as well, I think.
Yeah, totally. Oh, yeah. So sorry for the technical issues there. So, but at least again, you're able to carry on. Yeah, Virgin's flicking in and out. So thanks for that, Virgin. Always when we do a live, that's not always. It's been pretty reliable. Yeah. So look, I mean, my last point on there, we've touched upon the director of football. You know, who's going to come in. You know, and all that sort of stuff there. The Kevin Nanskaville bit, and obviously not knowing where you got to. I'm guessing you were discussing, because I heard Harvey talking about Whittaker and that on the transfers. The point I picked Kevin Nanskaville up there is because obviously he is Plymouth Argyle, and I did notice on the Tuesday night game, and it's only what I saw, and I did hear Tom on the Pilgrims pod pick up on it himself at one stage in the second half, I believe, at the game yesterday. And I was up with Gavin for his hospitality in his Diamond Club, and you sit in the old director's box. And I happened to look down at one point during the second half, and he charged out and sort of went up to I won't use Sophie as an example, but sort of was trying to. It was like really like shaking his hand and pointing over out on the pitch, and I couldn't work out if he was trying to say something to Muslic in terms of like, this is what we need to be doing. That's what it felt like. It could have been, this is just my view, it could have been totally different. But Tom said he saw something similar with him coming out, and Nanskaville Muslic told him just to calm down. And I think it's difficult for him, isn't it, sort of, Harvey, because he's done so well with Edwards over these last few games. That massive Brentford win, you could see the emotion pouring out. And I don't blame the guy if he's getting twitchy and nervous, because something's not going right and he feels he's got to just come out and say something, if that's what that was.
100%, and I think as Plymouth Argyle fans, the first person we've got to feel sorry for it is Nance. You know, you've seen it every single time Nance has took charge of the team. You've seen a massive improvement in the players fighting for the shirt, you know, winning duels, and it must be so frustrating for him. The Brentford performance, Muslic coming in to now. You know, what's the difference? You know, with Nance's role, his role should be secure, but I don't understand the players, as in, you know, the difference from Brentford to now. All there's been is a manager, but the performances have lowered massively.
Yeah, it is disappointing, which is why I think, you know, you can look at everything. Something actually Gavin said to us in the chat. For those that don't know, when you're in the lounge, whatever sort of membership you've got in there, they do a man of the match interview. They also do a chat with one of the players before kickoff. Gavin said that Grimshaw, you know, who obviously came out to get his man of the match award and do his interview, didn't come out for 30 odd minutes. Now, they normally come out fairly soon after the game because they're still in their football gear, standing there talking about the match. probably thinking, I really want to get in and have a shower now, folks. But it took 30 minutes before Grimshaw came out to do that, which I think, is fair. I think if they sat down, we saw Music's post comments. Those that have watched his actual full press conference, I think there would have been a bit of a heart-to-heart there. I'm sure Pleggy would have said something. A few others would have said something. That you've got to get in there. Like the bottom point, it's an absolute fight for survival. And if your head's gone and you want to go elsewhere, then the best thing the club can do is move that player on. As sort of brutal as that may be, because you do need everybody that's going to die on that pitch for us right now. It might still not change things, but at the end of the day, that's what it's going to take.
Nobody's going to mind going down and getting relegation as long as the players have given their all and played for the shirt. Simple as that.
Every game's a cup final, isn't it? Every game now to the end of the season's a cup final, and I think the fans are so on board if a player has put everything into that and.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna, because of the connection issues, I've lost the chat thread. So for those that have put any more comments in there, appreciate that. We'll wrap up now with a bit of a prediction on Tuesday night. But first, before I do that, thank you everybody again. There's 921 of you that are sat in here right at this moment. Really appreciate you joining us. Look, we love to talk about Argyle. There's a lot out there. Thank you, Carl. Wednesday night, you just reminded me, not Tuesday. But anyway, coming to that in a second.
8 o'clock as well, not 7:45 in case.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. Yeah, see, that's why I've got you there, you see. So look, we really appreciate it. We just love talking about it. I've referenced the Pilgrims pod at the start and do give that a bit of a shout out throughout. It's a really interesting one on that today. I've seen some interesting comments back, but we're all fans, and that pod was recorded right after the game because there's guys in America, in Europe. So it's they have to do that to jig things around. Doing these things is not easy to bring the content to everybody. But emotions were certainly running high then. You can fully understand it. We've had the benefit of sort of a full 24 hours to digest that, but we're still a bit frustrated to say the least with it. But look, we can only hope that we can scrape here and there. Don't get resigned to it until it's mathematically impossible. Anything can happen. It's not going our way at the moment, but anything can happen. So Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Thank you, Carl. What do we think then, Carl? What do you reckon is going to happen? Score predictions, and I want some wild ones tonight. Come on.
Not so much score prediction for me. I just want to see some fight, some passion, and a response to what Muslic said after the QPR game. I want to see them attack with aggression, win second balls, win duels. I think that's where we got to start to do before we even think about goal predictions and things. But no, I just want to see a better performance. I want to see some of his ideas coming across to the fans. I want to see improvement. Anything else is a bonus. But yeah, we do need to get the 3 points. So I think even if we get a point, it doesn't really do anything for us, especially with the next 2 games in hand. So if you can put in a Leicester type performance, get 3 points, even if it's a late 1-0 goal or whatever, we just need 3 points from somewhere.
Yeah, and Marcus, I mean, a point is still a point. Yeah, so it's better than no points. But yeah, what are you? I think Echo, Carl. Oh, Carl, give us a prediction. I want a score prediction.
I'm going to go for a 1-0, similar to Leicester last season.
Fair enough. Yeah, so go on, Marcus. I think you'd echo the same as Carl, in fairness, but yeah.
I'm going deja vu with Leicester. I'm going 1-0. Bundu scoring again.
Yeah, fair enough. And Harvey?
I'm going to go 3-2. 3-2 Argyle. Last minute, I think what's going to happen is that we're going to go 2-0 down. Everyone's going to be down and out. And then the second half, we're going to see like we did at Preston. And we're just going to one after the other, and it's going to be a late goal, and it's going to be magical in the end.
Caleb Roberts hat-trick?
I'll take it. I won't mind it.
Soranola hat-trick. Andy, yeah, like we said, it would be typical Argyle to go and get a big result against a team like Burnley. So yeah, what are you going with?
It would be, but I'm going to go. I'll get my tin hat on for this one. I think we're going to lose 1-0. I don't know where a win's going to come from, especially against Burnley.
Grumpy by name, grumpy by nature.
Do as much as you want. I'm just being realistic. All right, my heart says I want us to win. Of course, I want us to win. But my head says, Burnley, the form they're in at the minute, just think they're going to go and do a job on us.
Yeah, fair enough. No, look, it's tough. I think I did this when Harvey said 3-2 because that was going to be my wild card score prediction out there. Like I just said, echo what Carl said. Really, we especially with a 30-minute debrief before after the match in the dressing room. Yeah, just want to see that heart and fight out there. I want to see the likes of Sorinola come in. If it is for Mumba, because I think he deserves that. Sorinola, in fairness, Caden Roberts, like you said, Carl, earlier on, should he get a start, over someone like JB, because of just he's looking tired. Beidou up front, chuck another striker up front. CD PAFC, I saw his lineup earlier. I forgot who he put up front with him now off the top of my head, but it's like go with 2 up front. Why not? Let's
Beidou and
mix it
Hardy,
up.
I think he did.
Was it? Yeah. So thank you, Carl. So it's all like, yeah, do you know what? It's gonna be interesting. The one thing I just hope is that there isn't a divide going on in that dressing room in any way, shape, or form. And as fans, we don't want to see that, either. Everybody's gonna have their views, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. But yeah, it's like I said at the start, it's never nice, and mentally it can be quite testing. And I've been a bit moody around the family today and echoing that point as they pointed out to me earlier. So look, on that note, thank you again, everybody, for joining. Please give us a follow on the platform.
So what was your score prediction, Mike?
I said 3-2 with Harvey. I went the same with him.
3-2. Can we get one from Sophie, please, while she's here?
Oh, no, she's gone all shy now.
Oh, go on, Sophie. Just a score. Go on, any score.
She won't. Sophie enjoys watching the background on these.
And commenting in the group chat.
Yeah, well, no, that's Ben on his Embryo Aviation account. So, but yes, Sophie does replay these videos on her iPad constantly, which is bless her. So, look, everybody's fans, young, old, whatever, they're all fans. But yeah, so look, let's see what happens on Wednesday night at 8:00. But above all else, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. You've got Argyle Life afterwards, I think at 8:00, if that's their usual. If you want to go on and listen to more of that doom and gloom yesterday, but of course you do, that's why you're Argyle fans. Anyway, thanks gents for everything. Harvey, it's good to have you back in as well, and hopefully back more frequently, as you've said. So yeah, and hopefully Gavin, get over that man flu soon, and we'll have you on the show again soon too. So